Good afternoon. I'm ALANCOOK, the proud owner of the Midion'S painting, which is the man right here that serenades the older, more mature Mona Lisa, which is the lost painting of Leonardo da Vinci, which now I own. I'm the sole proprietor ownership of it. I want to tell you that I have really thank you for the encouragements of all the viewing, the subscriptions, and the great comments. I want to show you that a while back I done about 7 years ago a poll of all his little hidden dots of stars and images, and these little dots you see that are highlighted, these little items are his tricks in the art. Don't consider that to be old age. Those are his markings, those are his measurements, those are his stories, those are his words, his code. So what I do want you to know is that in one of my previous YouTubes, this apparently looks like a tear. It's very difficult to see on the regular images that's on the internet of the Mona. It takes probably about 40-50 Monas to download the right different type of tones and be able to open them up. I have probably 100,000 photos of images in which you have to go through to be able to find the hidden works in which they have never found or released that's within the Mona. I'm going to show you how my man starts within and his words on his lips, and how he moves across and goes his eye in here, his eye over here, and he moves across because like a flip book, like a movie, like watching TV. And so we're going to turn around and I'm going to show you about the eye, and then I'm going to show you about the words here and his mustache. I start in the beginning of the painting, and as you can see, here's the whiteness. And if you see, here's the whiteness and how it lines up perfectly. Now, if you actually look, there's his eye. If you follow, here's his big nose. Now, you would take his big nose, you pull it down, you can see the nose in the drawing. Okay? Then you pull it back up, you line it back up, obviously. Okay? And if you look right down here, you can see the whiteness in here of the numbers that's on his lips. They look like NWD, which there are many others, and also has an F here /4 look. Now, every letter in which he has, even an M, can actually be 20 alphabet letters and different codes. I mean, an A can look like a 4 can look like an A, vice versa, an N separated and large from an M and turned a certain way is an E, and it goes in, it's a 3, and an R can be separated from a B, and there's many other things. I could, if you watch my YouTubes and listen to them, without me getting into that kind of detail right now, you will see. Now, if I move him across, now I'm going to pull him down, I'm going to move him across. You see how his nose fits in the V in this area here. So I'll pull this down. See how his nose fits here now. Okay? You see it? All right. So we put that right back. Right there. And then if you look down, here's the words. So you pull it and you can see it in the water, the white waters, how the words on his lips in the white waters. Now, if you actually take a look at this particular area here is a face, okay? This is a face, believe it or not, in diamonds and stars, and here's eyes, and they move. Actually, this thing's actually doing like a 360. And these are eyes, and these are eyes, and goes endless. And you can have one eye on one person by having one eye hide behind a tree. Now, if I pull this back where you see, where we're first original, you see his dark cookie duster. My science teacher used to tell me that it was his cookie duster. And you can see how it absolutely matches up into the dark waters. See the dark waters? Now, it will also lighten up in the show up in the light waters. Now, we're going to skim this across, and you'll see that his eye, okay, is matching in, watch, there's the round circle. Now, why is there a round circle on top of the mountain? Because that's his marking, okay? There's no need for that to be there. It lets him know, and it makes you wonder. Now, when you pull this across, okay, you pull this across, you would end up, because no movie slides across like a conveyor belt. So when you get to this certain distance and you line it up here, the eye lines up into the dot of the tier that I mentioned. You can raise it just a hair for it to fit even better because of the movement. But if I back it up, you'll see another one here. So if I pull this and I bring this back down a little, and one more notch, you can see it fits the white in it with the pupil. Now, what's very, very cool is not only is this side matching even more, because he gives you the markings of knowing each one of these dots. You'll wonder, how come she looks like she's pasty, and how come she's got wild seas and stuff? Those are art, don't get it wrong, but there are also his measurements. Now, here's his eye. See, here's his eye. We're going to pull this down. Now, you can see his eye here, how it curves. You can see how it curves into the eye. The same. Now, when you pull this back, it matches 100%. It goes, his work covers and goes across. Now, I haven't hardly done any presetting on this. I just knew his works this way. So as soon as I saw it, I says, I'll just wing it and do this YouTube, because there's no way it's going to be anything else but the way he does his work. His work is magnificent. It's a TV. It's like watching YouTube. And when you do see this and you see it on the phone, go home, subscribe, put it on your 50 or 85-inch TV and really look at what I'm showing you. I'm going to tell you, it gets really wild. If you actually look, here's a scar in his nose, okay? And if you find it, you'll see that the scars are going across his lip, but there's a scar on his chin. To line that up, you lower that, you drop that a notch or two, you pull it back up, and the scar matches. Now, where's the eye? Here's the eye. I haven't preset it, okay? It would have to be in the cheek. So I pull this down, and I take a look, and you can see a slight indentation of a circle. Okay, there's words going across the Mona. Okay, these numbers do not always have to match of the area of the eye or the nose or the scar, because they are markings. Like one little mark with a V here may be a marking clear off over here or clear over here to let you know you're in those areas. He'll give you maybe a half a dozen to a dozen marks, like we are showing you, or I am showing you. Okay, whoops, I don't know what happened here, sorry. Let me re-grab it. And then when you end up, I'm going to leave that like that, going across the page, that's why she's happy, because he is all over her. He loves her. So if I move this up, you can see the top of his head builds into the shadow. How it curves, this curve curves into her shadow. Here's her curve. See? The curve. So now you know you got yourself another place. These are nothing in which I have tried to manipulate or change. I am the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger, please. Of course, I haven't seen what's on the opposite side here. Let's see. Okay, this is only I got to find the original full piece of this, because I am very, look at that. What, did you see that? Look at his nose. Lines up perfectly with her hair. Watch. Perfectly. Boy, is he smudging her. And if you take a look at the V of the nose, see, it's highlighted. Okay? And he can be shifted here, and I can move him up here even, because that's the way he does his numbers, his triangles, his part triangles, all the above. His trick is his numbers, and his numbers are within his hidden works. Let me close this so I can get this. It's too far. So there's his nose, and then we slide it across, and see how his nose will line up with the diamonds? I didn't know that, but I expect it. I expect it because it may shift up and down in distances, because he's loving her like I think they call it Eskimo nose rubbing or something. And you can see how his eye fits in the blank spot. See? So what I've been trying to tell the world, and for the world to understand, is that Leonardo da Vinci copied his work like a copy machine. Okay? Look at that. If you take a look, you see this eye spot with the loop? You pull this down, see this loop? See? He gives you to let you know, yes sir, you're in the right area. That's where the painting goes. Now, there's a lot more to this. Okay, now you got the point of what I'm trying to tell you, is that he makes his painting move, and that's what the world's been talking about for nearly over almost working on 600 years. What also is extremely breathtaking, to where it's hard to still believe that the guy goes beyond, is that he takes this one image. Now this is only one layer. You got to understand, this is only one layer of a skin that I caught. He has dozens, if not multi-dozens of layers, and then that you have to fight to get, and each layer has probably dozens and dozens of different little tricks of chemicals that you have to pull in each one. So now you're dealing in hundreds and hundreds of different ways of trying to find his hidden diary, because this is a diary. He's talking to us. And if you really look at his nose, take a look at that nose. That's the front of a horse. An eye, that's a horse face. Okay? And he's a writer on it. And when you actually get this highlighted, he's having a blast. He's a comic. He has fun doing his work, and he is a trickster. But if you talk about depth, and you talk about shadow, and you talk about chemistry, and you talk about build, well, here's something that's going to blow you away, and it's a fact. If you took a flashlight and aimed it at your wall, and you're only 5 feet away, you see that image from there. You step forward or backwards, doesn't matter. Let's say you step 1 foot back. That image changes. It changes, obviously. But so you see the circle start turning more oval. You step back another 10 feet, it changes again. That's part of his depth and tricks and lighting and shadows. So technically, light, unless God takes light away forever, is infinity. For the reason is because if I was from here and I went all the way around the world and shot the light, that image is totally going to be, if I could see it, would totally be out of this world, even though it's in this world, or if I shot it out to the sky. So no matter whatever micro inches to foots to miles to distance of any sort, it changes. And that's what he did in this painting. That's why the Mona Lisa also moves. Two, another thing is that if not only looking at it straight, just look at it on an angle when the light hits it, then you got shadow. Okay? And it gets wilder. Okay? Then you got depth. Then you got on top of that when he turns it. When you turn it even a half a degree or a degree, it multiplies even more because it changes the depth and the shadow and the light. And then he's got chemical hidden. And then he's got his mathematical tricks. And he's got dozens of these things that just keeps multiplying. And this guy can take a pixel. And you can take a pixel size and turn it into a Mona Lisa that's a cartoon built into a portrait and build the main Mona Lisa out of all these portraits of having a blast in these codes of these chemicals, which he has to give you this sense of that you go nuts on trying to figure out how this man did it, why he did it, and how he's so wise. Well, I have some of the answers right now. Why he's so wise is because he had the gift of God given to him. The gift of the best hands, mind, heart, every single thing that you can do. Eyes. I mean, the guy was gifted. There's another thing. He loved the Mona. He loved her. And you can't kill love. It will always be with you. No matter if you hate the person tomorrow, you can't kill that love you had. Okay, and that's another fact. So and then there's an obsession. And then it was your pride. And then your passion. And then your just overall, knowing that you and all your friends and associates and loved ones, that if you continue, and that your heart and your chest and your soul and your spirit and your character rises with everybody to giving you that pride, and then your wealth you pass or help explore or help support or bring somebody in or enjoy life with the comforts. There's a lot to it, and that's why billionaires continue working, because they know that they got a lot of people that are under them that need you to stay working to keep the businesses going, even though they want to put their feet up. And some of them don't. Ego, maybe. There's all kinds of different psychological and non-psychological ways. It's all through heart and love and God and spirit and will and strength and ability and fun and some a lot of shoveling and having a lot of hard times and breaking your back. But overall, he lived a life full of purity of love. And out of that, he ended up with the Mona Lisa that he loved so much that he ended up with this painting. This particular painting whatsoever so happens to be the greatest painting, as far as I'm concerned, on the planet as a duet of his diary, in which he had been done his whole life, hidden stories in every little pixel you can think of. And out of this particular hidden stories are images and things that he put in his love. He put the love of his heart, mind, body, and soul into the Mona Lisa that's on the right, a young child. And if she even passed away the moment after he finished her or remembered finishing her, he ended up remembering what she would be. Well, she lived, obviously. And that's what she grew up to be. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. And in each dot, okay, and if you follow my YouTubes and you subscribe to help me to continue with my support for income, and anybody who's got any ability to know what I'm doing wrong to where I'm not even listed in the sense of receiving any financial ability, I haven't fabricated a thing. This is all facts. These are non-altered in for any purpose to deceive anybody. I'm a religious person, and when we talked about passion, I'm talking about passion, and that's why I made a book called Passion of Love. And I don't even know how to distribute that properly either. Okay? All I know is that I had the passion to find out what's in that MONALISA of mine on one of my buyouts that I done years ago, and I used to be a massive compulsive buyer and put it away for many years, and then one day I had a time, and with the grace of God, my dad being a TV repairman, and he passed, and I was talking to my dad, and it went on, and I had this sign from God and my dad to take a look at this painting that I had 5 minutes to myself. And when I did, I shot 40 pictures, and 40 pictures became 4 that kind of looked like cartoons that I couldn't find a signature. And it just reminded me of my dad's cartoons. And the next thing you know, I got so into it that I just couldn't believe anybody can be so talented that can get in to the MONALISA. Now, like Leonardo. Now, if you take a look and you see that eye, you see that eye? Okay, you see that eye? See how small it is? Now, how small that eye is this is a fact. That eye is so small. Take a penny and look at the top of Lincoln's head, and out of Lincoln's head you will find